So this isn't a movie I would normally go to see at the cinema, but because now I have a bit more free time in my hands, I just thought, why not? Here's my view of Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. So, Good Luck to You, Leo Grande is directed by Sophie Hyde, and based on the story of Leo, played by Daryl McCormack in the movie, who is a sex worker, and he was employed by Nancy, played by Emma Thompson in the film, to basically give her sex. But then, when Leo meets Nancy, he starts to realise that she's not that comfortable sexually, and also that she's not that comfortable with herself. Whilst at the same time, when Nancy meets Leo, she starts to realise there's more to him than she initially thought. And then basically, throughout the rest of the movie, you see this unique bond, develop between those two characters. And that's essentially the plot of Good Luck to You, Leo Grande. And honestly, I really liked this movie. It was a sweet, if meandering story. It's a sweet, meandering story about these two characters, which was fun to watch. And yes, on the surface, it's a film about a sex worker giving sex to this older woman. Yes, that's what the story is about on the surface, but actually, much like Boogie Nights, it's not really like that. It's not really about that thing. It's more about reality versus fantasy. It's more about being open and free in life. It's more about being confident with yourself sexually and just as a whole. It's more about sexual fulfillment and then fulfillment in life as a whole as well, and it's more about being happy with who you are and the job you do and just things like that. There's so many more themes I haven't talked about which are in this movie as well, but it's more about those themes, this film. It's more about just being confident with who you are just in life as a whole, and that's why I liked it, because even so some parts were a bit meandering for me because I couldn't relate to them, and even so some parts were just, I don't know, they didn't really work for me. Overall, I could relate to those themes because they were being executed in this film in a really enjoyable and fun and sweet way, which I liked watching. And at the same time, though, I do think it helps that the lead two performances in the film, the only two performances really, I mean, there's like one of a character that you introduced to a bit later than me, but like the lead two performances in the film, Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormack, I think they're so good, and I think they help carry a lot of the movie. I do think they do because I think they're fantastic performers, and I think there's a great chemistry between those two, and you instantly believe in those characters. Even so, Emma Thompson's, his big star, I instantly believed in the character she was playing. Even so, they get a bit tongue-in-cheek towards the end. Like, they make a reference to The Graduate towards the end of this movie, and I was a bit like, I don't think they need to do that, but overall, I still brought into Emma Thompson's character, even so Emma Thompson was playing her, which I think sounds like a small thing on the surface, but it's actually quite a big thing. And at the same time, though, it's fun to watch, though, and it's got emotional moments. It's got emotional moments when you really find out who Leo is, and maybe why his real name isn't Leo. I think that's really emotional, that part of the movie. But at the same time, it's fun to watch when you see Leo and Nancy dancing, and you see Nancy start to let loose. I think those moments really make the film fun to watch, but also I think when you start to find out more about Leo, not to give too much away there, but when you start to find out there's more to him than you initially thought, that's when the film gets a bit more emotional, and that's when I was caught off guard by it, I've got to admit, because actually I felt quite sad in certain moments when you start to find out about Leo's backstory. Again, not to go into much detail there, but I found that section of the film a bit, a bit emotional and a bit moving, and I didn't expect to. And, like I said before, it's fun, and it's a sweet film, but it is slightly meandering, and I think that's one of my criticisms of the film overall. It is slightly meandering, and sometimes it does feel like a quite simple premise extended over its runtime of an hour 40 minutes. Like, the film is an hour 40 minutes long, and it does kind of feel like the runtime has been extended to a certain degree. Like, I'm not saying the film it feels overlong or anything like that. I'm not saying the film feels too long, but I am saying is I do think some parts are just a tad bit overstretched. I do think you could have got about 10 minutes of the movie and it'd be the exact same film and maybe more tight. I don't know. That's just one of my small nitpicks of the movie. It's not a big criticism that it didn't hugely bother me, but there was a couple sections in the film I was like, yeah, I understand the point you're trying to make. Can we just move on to the next part here? That's what I kind of personally felt in some small sections of the film. That's only really nitpick there. But one of my other criticisms now, which isn't a nitpick, I've got to admit, and more a bigger criticism, is the fact that I do feel this film might have worked better on a stage play. I kind of feel the same way about this film as I do about Pistol, the recent Sex Pistols TV show which I've been on this channel. I do kind of feel like this film might have worked better on a stage play. I don't know if it has been a stage play. I don't have a clue. Maybe it has been already and I just don't know that. But still, there's parts of the film which do feel like they could work well on a stage. They really do, because it's essentially a bottle film. It's essentially a bottle film. You know, most of the film, the majority of the movie, takes place in one location. There's like one change location in the entirety of the movie. But at the same time, though, that kind of made me feel like, you know, this film might work better on a stage play, because I can imagine two performers doing this on the stage, and actually I can imagine it working quite well. And it does work well in the movie, because I do think the bottle sort of aspect to it, you know, the closed, claustrophobic aspect to it, does make you focus more on the characterizations of Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormack's character, you know, Leo and Nancy's characters. But at the same time, though, I don't know, it just felt like it could work more as a stage play. Like, I almost expected curtains to fall at the end. And also, weirdly enough, the film does feel a tad, and I mean a tad, bit Tarantino-esque. Simply because it's split into chapters, like many Tarantino films are. This film is split into chapters, and I don't know, it just made the film, again, does that sort of storytelling, and it's split into chapters like meeting 1, meeting 2, meeting 3, meeting 4 between, you know, Leo and Nancy. It was kind of Tarantino-esque in the way it's put into chapters. I mean, it's not a non-linear narrative or anything like that, it's still a linear narrative, but at the same time, though, I don't know, it's kind of reminding me of Tarantino films whenever it did that, and it also did make the film, yet again, feel a bit stagey. But overall, it didn't really bother me that, because I still had a good time in this movie. I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, and it was an unexpected, sweet, if slightly meandering story, like I already said a million times in the review, but I'm going to say again, it was a sweet, if slightly meandering story, but it was a sweet story in the end. It was a nice story, it was an unexpected story, and I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, because, like, I seen a trailer for this movie a couple of weeks back. I think when I went to go watch Operation Mincemeat, I saw a trailer for this film, and I thought it was going to be like this, like, sort of sex comedy, like, I don't know, Notting Hill, or Love Actually, but a bit more erotic, and then maybe there's a bit more, you know, explicit content in there. That's what I thought it was going to be like, but actually, it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's explicit stuff in this film, but at the same time, though, it's just more about two characters, kind of like a chalk and cheese relationship, about two characters who, you know, usually wouldn't get along. But when both characters are put into this room together, you start to realize maybe they have more in common than initially thought, and they start to know more about each character, which I liked. You know, in the end, would one of my favourite films of 2022 come the end of the year? Probably not. But I liked it overall. I thought it was a good film, not a brilliant movie. But in the end, it was a sweet story. It told a sweet story. I thought the storytelling was done well. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was emotional when it needed to be as well. And all in all, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. And I did enjoy watching it at the cinema. And it was an unexpected, nice, welcome surprise. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that good luck to you, Leo Grande. I'm going to say that it's a 7.5 out of 10. You know, in the end, this film is going to be for everyone. You know, it focuses a lot on dialogue-driven scenes, which I really like, because I did think the dialogue was written well, and I think it was written very realistically as well. Like, I really believed in these characters. I really believed in the situations they were in as well. But in the end, the film's not going to be for everyone, because it is a dialogue-driven movie. It's not any action or anything like that. But personally, it worked for me, and I'm happy it did, because I didn't expect it to. I didn't expect it to work for me, but I think the reason it did was because, you know, the film, on the surface, yes, it's about a sex worker giving sex to this older woman, but at the same time, though, it's not really about that. Like I said before, you know, Boogie Nights is all about the adult film industry in the 70s, but it's not really about that, though. Boogie Nights is more about greed, and like Boogie Nights, this film, you know, Go to Leo Grande, is more about fantasy vs reality. It's more about letting go. It's more about being open. It's more about being confident with yourself, both sexually and as a whole. And also, it's just more about loving who you are. And that's why I think it works for me overall. Even so, I couldn't relate to, you know, some parts of the movie. I could still relate to those themes, and I like that I could relate to those themes. And I thought the execution of the movie, I thought the execution in terms of the way it was shot, and I thought it was a beautifully shot movie. I haven't really mentioned that, but I do think it was a really well shot movie. But yeah, I thought it was a well shot movie, and I thought the execution and the storytelling was done very well. And ultimately, I think the lead two performances from Emma Thompson and Daryl McCormack really carried a lot of the movie. And at the same time, though, like I said before, it was moving, emotional, and at the same time, though, enjoyable when it needed to be. That's ultimately why it worked for me. Like I said before as well, will it be one of my favourite films come the end of the year? I don't know. Probably not. But saying that, though, I am happy I watched it. And it isn't a film I would usually watch at the cinema, but you know what? I'm kind of glad I did. And so, all in all, I'm going to say that good luck to you, Leo Grande. I'm going to say that's a 7.5 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Good Luck to You, Leo Grande? Please do comment down below, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you haven't yet, please do click down below and like and subscribe on this video. I'm looking forward to many more, both film and TV reviews, come very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon, but bye for now, bye!